The year has begun. We are live in 2024 with five
How many?
five comic books to review and
Count them?
four pals. We have Marco,
Hello.
Kale,
What's up? Hot
Tyler,
dogs.
Hello, hot dogs.
and I'm Sean. This is Pals Pulls. Happy to have you. Happy to be here. 2024. Hope it's a good one. Marvel, DC, and the entire comic book community decided to kick things off hot this year. And so we've got Batman. What is this? 141, the end of the Mindbomb arc. Fall of the House of X, #1. Vengeance of Moon Knight, #1. I don't know when the last time we talked about Moon Knight was on this podcast. The Amazing Spider-Man, #41. And Pine and Merrimac, #1. That's a Boom book. We'll get to that a little bit later. Let's waste no time. Let's talk Batman.
Batman.
Yes, Chip
Batman.
Zdarsky with art by George Jimenez. Didn't Jimenez win? Or
Sure did.
yeah,
He sure
Yeah, would
did.
be
I was
best
thinking about
artist.
that the whole time I was reading this
Same,
book.
yeah. Colors by Tamu Moray, letters by Clayton Cowles. Yo, wow, what a comic book! What a comic book!
Batman was cool. I
Before-
prefer a certain type of Batman.
You like ones that are like you. You like to see yourself in media. This is why
That's right.
representation matters, guys. More
That's right.
robots for robotic weirdos like Marco.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So this issue really gives us exactly what is promised. It's the battle between Bruce Wayne Batman and Zor-El failsafe Batman. This has gone about how I thought it would, but this issue hits on every single possible level. I can't believe how good this comic book was. Maybe I'm just in a good mood today. There were so many moments. Like, I felt like I was on this ride with Batman as he's facing off with this Terminator-like version of himself once again. But this time, he doesn't have Superman. He doesn't have allies. He has nothing. But his wits, that's it. But his enemy is him. How can he win?
Story of my life.
Arguably, his enemy is a souped up version of him, right? Because isn't that the whole thing with Zor-El?
Well, Failsafe is a souped up version of him. Zor-El is just another aspect of his, personality. But he's facing the mind of his own mind in the body of a machine that he already barely beat before. That he beating it was actually going deeper into the plan of Zor-El in the first place.
Didn't it throw him from the moon or some shit?
Something crazy like that. Some kind of yeah.
I did
wild.
like
Yeah.
that aspect of it. Of like, it was all mind games, and that was a lot of fun. It was cool to see Bruce be like, surely I'm gonna do this, and therefore he's gonna think that I'm gonna do that. But really, the thing to do is not the thing that I think. It's like, wait, but hold on a second. But then he's gonna think the same thing, and then I had to catch myself being like, there was so much there. But it was fun to go through that process alongside him, and then see the outcome of, well, no, but of course the robot version is gonna do exactly what he would presume to do. It was fun. It was cool to see that dynamic.
I also like that in that specific moment that you're talking about where Bruce has the option to go back to Gotham and get his family. Chip said, no, I'm not ready for that yet. He said, I want my Batman to have laser swords, and that's how this is going to be.
That was sick.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
The panel where the book kind of starts off as like a bit of a standstill. They're just talking to each other and like they're waiting to see where the first move is going to be made. And it's when Bruce makes that first move where he like was it like a smoke bomb or something, so he can punch with his robot hand. But that first panel of that movement is like, okay, yeah, I see why Jimenez won Best Artist from us. He's kind of has like this almost like a Luffy-esque One Piece like wind up to his punch that I thought was really good.
A little stretchy. But that's his art. That's very much his like his art is just limber like that, you know?
There are so many great Jimenez moments. Batman feigning fear on that same page that you were just referencing. It just you never really see Batman looking like that. Like he just looks so scared and horrified. And then the way he heads for the fucking hills. I love this panel. Look at how he's running. He looks like Bugs Bunny or somebody like that. He looks like a cartoon character.
The arrows that delineate the movement makes me think he's hopping like a rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And in that same breath, in the car scene where again he's like, I'm not gonna make it easy for him, you know, I'm gonna anticipate the jump and then slow down and then he ends up slowing down, but obviously Dusty jumps on top. It's fun to see them just catch themselves or him catch himself through the robot. And at that point I thought in the same vein of he's feigning the fear, he's also feigning thinking through up to a certain point and then doing the opposite of that thing.
Why would he have to? The robot Zernar's not in his mind anymore.
No, but he's gonna think the same thing. That's why in that car scene he's like, let him try to catch it, then floor it. But he shoots over. He still lands in the car, even though the expectation was to not. But really, the plan was to think that all along, and then toss the little the sticky stuff inside the car.
Yeah, it's like it really is like Bugs Bunny versus Wile E. Coyote or Spy versus Spy or anything like that. Just with two, one peak human individual and one, machine body with peak human brain. It's a lot of fun to read. It really is.
I have one gripe with it, and it's not minimal, but there is a bit of we've seen this in this run already. We've seen the failsafe Batman face off, and Batman trying to run away from it, and he's struggling throughout it all, and it looks fantastic. But there was a part of me that was like, all right, I know like Zernar is in failsafe now, but visually, what does that do besides change the text bubbles? So I had a bit of an issue with that, but I guess that was minimal because I still enjoyed this issue a lot.
Yeah, I think that's sort of been my overall critique about Zdarsky's run. Is just like I feel like this is all stuff we've seen before with some text swapped out and maybe some slightly different turns. But damned if he doesn't make it an absolute blast. Like I completely forget in the moment.
I feel like that's superhero comics. I think it's we're past the point of innovation for most of this stuff. And the fact that we're reading Batman 141, which is actually probably Batman, 1,000 whatever, and we're still excited and having a good time. I really think you can't look for a ton more than that. This comic on any other week is my pick of the week without any question whatsoever. I just think it's phenomenal. Even the backup, and I hate backups.
Yeah,
even the backup is awesome.
I mean, you put Dustin Nguyen on the backup.
Yeah,
I read 140 and 141, and I saw that it wasn't Batman in the backup, and it was a Vandal Savage backup, and I went, that's all right. I'm skipping that.
No love for Vandal Savage.
Not in the middle of the sweet Bruce and failsafe action. No way.
Sure. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, the backup is just like another meeting of the minds between the Zurnars from across the multiverse, and they're arguing about which one of them should be in charge of this operation and of the failsafe body. And it's the what's the word I'm looking? What's the Batman Beyond?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne.
Wayne, yeah, of the Zur-En-Arrh saying, "Hey, I'm the smartest one here. I'm the best. I've been doing this the longest." And our Zur-En-Arrh is like, "Okay, cool," and then smokes them. I had so much fun with that. And I can't wait to see where this is going. And now we finally understand, which I'd rather not spoil if we can avoid that, why we're getting a Joker year one and what the hell all that is about.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, it also feels like it's going to tie into what was Zdarsky's Young Batman story?
The Night.
The Night, yeah,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
never read. So I'm a little worried about that as well.
Well, this series is already tied in with the Night. Like even the woman here who's the former
Yeah.
mentor of Batman is from the Night.
And that's what I'm worried about because it keeps referencing the Night, and I'm like, man, I didn't read that, you know, and I kind of want to go back, but
Read it. Why not?
make it a book club.
No, I won't be doing that. I won't be doing that. Pull, pass, pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Oh, no way.
Very good.
I'll say it.
Interesting. All
Very
right.
good.
Hell
Batman
yeah.
fucking rules.
Very good. I love
This in this year of our Lord 2024, Kale says Batman rules with a Z.
Listen, I'm gonna have to yeah, maybe I'm Zurinar Kale. Like this is just coming in hot. 2024. This is the year. Maybe Kale's into superhero comics again.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of 2024, we got our first super chat of
Hey.
the year from Flo Dameron with the 4.99 saying, I've been a Detective Comics guy for years. May have to give this Batman title a shot. Flo, I highly recommend it. I think that I would say there are two arcs that you might find questionable, but largely this has been a very good run. I think it's worth your time. I think Chip is cooking. And by the way, you know what? The Bada Boom podcast is pretty good. That's what Flo does. Check out Flo's channel. Why not?
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Columbo listed the arcs. There was a Failsafe, the Multiverse arc, and Gotham War, and now we just finished Mindbomb. So Failsafe and Mindbomb seem to be the good ones.
I agree.
I mean, that's 2 out of 4. So when you list like that, it doesn't sound good, but I feel like in terms of issue numbers, it's probably better.
I also think if you look at Gotham War, it's not Chip that was the problem.
Yeah.
I think its existence was the problem. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
because I don't
Like,
think
overall.
it was. Yeah, I don't think it was bad for Catwoman either. But like as a Catwoman story,
Mm.
I don't know. Are you reading that? You reading that run?
I caught up a little bit. I'm not fully caught up.
Go ahead. Yeah. um.
Pull.
Well, very good. Cool. Starting off the new year right with a great comic. Starting off the new year right, hopefully with a great podcast. Thank you guys for joining us, showing up, supporting. If you want to continue your support, patreon.com/thecomicspals is the best way. The grind never stops. And so far, you guys have been great to us. We appreciate that. Everybody that joins us on that side of things. We've got a big year coming, and Patreon is a big part of that. So if you want to get in early on everything that we've got coming and everything that's already there, if you haven't joined our Patreon yet, my goodness, you've missed out on what, a couple of years now worth of stuff that's
Yeah.
all there for you. So,
Couple
you know,
of
that,
years. Jeez.
yeah, yep, that support goes a long way for you at this point. So thank you to everybody that chooses to do that. Channel members as well, we appreciate you. Love to see green names in the chat. If you've got those emojis, we want to see them now. Now's the time. Hope you enjoy your early access videos, your emojis, etc. More to come. Everything we're doing is going to get bigger and better this year. Watch this show live every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Watch the main show live every Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Everything else at the Comics Pals. You know the drill. I want to keep talking comics. Let's do it. Fall of the House of X, #1. It's finally here.
Happening.
Yes. This is, of course, by Jerry Duggan, who's been one of the architects of the post-Hickman era of X-Men comics. Lucas Wernick on art. Brian Valenza on colors. Letters by Travis Lanham. Go ahead.
I think I'm done. um, n- n- now
Well, it's
that we
over,
have
so
the
Yeah, right.
end, now that we have the end of the Krakoa era, like actually, like we have a month for it. It's coming. There's a new time coming. Um, like I picked this up and I'm like, well, I didn't finish X-Men. I didn't finish Immortal X-Men. And then I had a realization. Was like, I'm good. I think I'm gonna just. I think I'm done. Which is kind of a shame, and it makes me wonder if like I was just reading X-Men in comics because I like X-Men and not because I like the books. This was kind of mid for me, which is weird because it's like a Cyclops centric book. It starts off with Cyclops and has a fastball special in it. Yeah, I wasn't feeling this.
My pick of the week. I loved it.
Oh, dang.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
I got to the coming out of the dream, and I was like, who's writing this? It's like, oh, Duggan? Damn, I haven't dug his work in the past, but you know what? This caught me off guard and surprised me, and I was following along with the story. I was having a good time, and I had to go back and be like, oh, this guy? Huh, okay. You know what? I like the setup. I like the little beats and moments that we get. It was there wasn't much beyond some of the action and fun of it. And I'm curious to see how towards the end this all gets resolved and we're gonna save Krakoa. That part's hooked me. But this to get through that, I had a good time.
guys, bad news to 2024 called. It's just me. I didn't like this book.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what happens in the book. So it kicks off with Cyclops having some kind of a dream or whatever. It's essentially irrelevant. But he's captured. He's captured and he's on trial for the crimes of mutantdom, and this is what Orcus needs to fully sell humanity on the idea that mutants have to be purged, is just being able to put Cyclops away. And this is how tyranny accelerates, and I love Cyclops being cast in this role because this is the familiar role, right? This is the Cyclops who's the martyr. This is the Cyclops who is taking it on the chin for all of mutant kind. And I love seeing him in that position. It feels right to me. Cyclops and Wolverine getting back to basics, kicking ass. They've got a plan to rescue Cyclops and save him. But then that plan gets disrupted by Professor Xavier, who's got his own machinations and pulls Rasputin away. And then Cyclops, or rather Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Colossus have to get it done on their own. And I'm jumping around, but I had fun with every single scene except the literal first, the flash or the dream thing. Cyclops speaking to the Orcus lady from House of X, whose husband died, that kicked off a lot of this shit, almost all of this shit. That was a tremendous scene to me. Tremendous.
That was cool, dude. Cool. And then the way that he like, even in her, because obviously she's like the victor in this situation, and he just full on ignores and decides to address oh my god,
Yeah, Omega Sentinel.
The Omega Sentinel, and it's like we're beyond these people still. Like ultimately we will win the day. And it's like how do you reconcile with that? It's like shit. Those are cool beats and good payoff from 3 years ago at this point.
More than that, it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
One of the things reading this, and this is I haven't fully come to terms with or thought this through myself, but part of it was like, man, I'm tired of seeing the same all-star mutants in this book. Like, I'm almost getting tired of like, this one's Wolverine's here, Cyclops is here. I think I'm X-Men out in general. Like part of me is like, man, I wish I can read like, I don't know, like a New Mutants with some, like lesser known X-Men characters or mutants that the idea of Krakoa kind of promised. But it's just been like this post like Fall of X thing. It's just been like, oh, here's all the heavy hitters doing stuff. I'm just, it doesn't speak to the things I like about X-Men.
But can we talk about the merits of the comic? I feel like what is your criticism of the book?
I think it's boring. That's my criticism with it. It feels paint by numbers. Like oh, we're gonna spend 4 pages talking about a fastball special. Like we've done that plenty of times. A reverse one's called the screwball special. Fine, I drank one of those once at a bar. Like it's cool. I just this. It just feels pedestrian. Like I really just was bored with it.
I felt like the dialogue, especially in the Cyclops, Omega Sentinel, and this other lady,
Aaliyah Gregor.
yeah, Gregor. I thought it was Gregor. I thought the dialogue in this scene, it didn't totally feel earned for how quick it sort of went off the rails. Especially when she, I really noticed it when she went, "Don't you dare!" And I went, "Whoa, hold on, like, where's this coming from?"
Wait,
It just didn't.
Go ahead.
It just didn't. It felt. It didn't feel real to me.
But how not? This is a conversation that's been building for years. He says grief is a heavy set of chains.
Word.
The implication being that she's wearing the chains that were put on her by the X-Men by killing her husband. And she says, "Don't you dare," because she does not want him to try and use the fact that they killed her husband as a play on her sympathy.
Sure.
When you explain it that way, that doesn't make Cyclops sound likable.
Cyclops isn't likable. He's never been likable.
Yeah. So we even see Krakoa get in the mix, which
Yeah,
we
that was
never
weird.
see. Krakoa never even moves like that.
Yeah, flower
And I
root.
love the fact that Nimrod came there to raise hell and kick ass. And Krakoa said, "Nah, you can fuck off. You can fuck right off."
With sap?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah, but I'm like, but he's Nimrod. Like, kind of, I feel like you can get out of some tree sap.
Nimrod's power level is confusing to me.
Well, we never see Krakoa do anything.
Fair.
So we don't know anything about how powerful that was or what. But I think it's fair to assume, since it happened, that Krakoa outpowered Nimrod.
He also called it amber. So it's
Yeah.
not like, it's not just sap.
Amber only happens after it hardens and solidifies, so like over the course of a millennia. But
This issue also included one of the only infographic. It's not really an infographic, but I guess we'll, that we've gotten in a long time that I've enjoyed. The one from Cyclops to Jennifer Walters. Really, really good. It talks about, the way that mutants have been treated, how, that he knew that bringing life to Mars was going to cause humanity to revolt and try to take action against them. I don't know. I just think it's a really good piece of writing on Jerry Duggan's part. And I've been wondering where the hell this guy has been the whole time, because I have not liked, frankly, much of what Duggan has done in this era. But this knocked for me. The only problem I had was the color, to be honest. I thought it was colored a little weird.
Huh.
interesting.
Yeah.
I really like that. It was like Cyclops' visor was turned off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
just gold. I
Mhm.
thought that was a really clever piece of, I don't know, art or coloring. Like a
I've
clever
never seen
choice.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I think they that's what Orcus did when he first got captured. They just put this like special visor on him.
That makes sense. Oh, and I guess that's why he mentions, I thought I smelled the bourbon on, like, he's not looking, right? He's not seeing. He hasn't noticed through
Yeah.
other means. Okay,
Yeah.
that tracks.
I felt like there were a couple of places where the art was just a little weird, just slightly off. Again, in that aforementioned "Don't You Dare" panel, her Gregor's face and hand are just a little bit weird.
Big old cup.
I just sort of like a. There were a couple of places like that where Wernick's art was sort of unusually off, especially since what was it, the death of the Scarlet Witch, or the
Trial of Magneto.
the trial
Yeah.
of Magneto. His art has been so on point. It feels a little. It's weird to see even these slight misses.
Yeah.
Yo, when they burned Wolverine, I was like, oh man, I can't handle watching these X-Men get mutilated all the damn time.
Wolverine gets burned in everything he's in.
Seen that.
Yes, I
That's
know.
cool.
Although the electromagnet was just like, you put the two metal guys together, that's who you teamed up.
Yeah, right.
Like as you're talking about the idea of circuits and how mutants can, get things together, there's a circuit of a con for them. And they're both made of metal, so they're gonna get screwed by just a magnet. I will say, coolest part was Polaris at the end.
Thing.
I love that costume, like the green
Oh.
Magneto, essentially.
I like that distortion of just like her field. You could see the
Yeah.
wiggles and the art.
And also
twist and
bringing in
turn.
Brew from I guess that's a pulled on threads that were in that Captain Marvel crossover, the Brood War. I don't know if that was what it was called, but I know Doug wrote that.
Even before that, that was Hickman.
Yeah, with the egg. Yep.
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 Let's hit some pull, pass. What are we doing?
I'll pass for me.
Poll. This was good. This was fun.
I made it this far, Paul. Typical comics fan.
Pick of the week for me. Let's hit some comments. I wanted to call out Jay Millions said, I'm finally catching an episode live. What's up, guys? Jay Millions is one of like the commenters I've been seeing for the longest that I've never seen in the live chat. So glad
Nice.
to have you. Yeah. Alexander Bruno says, but Sean, there wasn't even a female glove in sight in this book. Pick of the week. Yes. Listen, I'm not all about, women wearing gloves that barely fit.
Yeah, we've got fucking Tigra in Moon Knight later. Like, what?
We're going to talk about that.
Sean got his due.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. Don't even worry about it.
We
go
do.
ahead.
We do have a question from B Waver. What do you guys think of Rasputin 4? Should Rasputin 4 die during this final chapter or live on to the next era?
Live on so I can get that Marvel Legends. Love the design.
I love Rasputin 4. I don't see a problem with that character. I mean, I could see why getting rid of her might make sense just because she's sort of a relic of an era that will be bygone. But I can't imagine that they can completely flatline everything. There will be some things that carry over, and I think Rasputin should be one of those things. I would think that.
Popular. I think it makes sense to keep, like the continuity logic aside. It happened, right? It happened in a timeline, so she exists. Or has
Yeah.
existed.
She doesn't have to be like, on Front Street. She doesn't need to be on a team. She could just be, in the world.
Yeah.
Pop up when someone finds a need.
Though she kick ass on a team, frankly.
Agreed. Speaking of teams, let's talk about gangs. Let's get
Gang.
into Amazing Spider-Man 41, which is a gang war tie-in. Zeb Wells on the words with the returning John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna on inks, Marcio Menes on colors. This was another comic book that I absolutely adored. I thought this was awesome. It is a long measuring contest between Kingpin and what's this guy's name again? Tombstone. And they both got their gangs with them. Tombstone's gang is twofold. It's just Spider-Man and She-Hulk. Meanwhile, Kingpin has all kinds of Hellfire dudes and Typhoid Mary, who is always good for a good time. Meanwhile, you have the new Sinister Six-ish kind of girl group, led by what's her name, Beetle,
Yep,
and
yep.
they're at war with the Rose. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on in this comic book. I think the only downside to this comic book is unfortunately the Romita artwork, which is doing no favors at all to Typhoid Mary.
Oh,
Just
Boy,
like
she
anybody
don't
else.
either.
Yeah.
Romita is what made this book for me.
No way.
I love the art in this book. Even the Typhoid Mary. I love the way he draws her hair. And I think if you put Romita on a book and you just have him have two beefy dudes just do that like that Romita pose where they're punching each other and they both connect on each other's faces, it's a Romita thing. But like I eat that shit up, man. Like the Tombstone Kingpin stuff. This was my pick of the week actually. Spider-Man.
Wow.
I'm loving how simple Gang War is. It's just easy.
Kale's reaction there just killed me. I love you, Kale. Thank you for being
Yes.
back. I appreciate it.
This must be these new comic books. I'm not following. Maybe I read a different book. Y'all like this so much. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know.
You have an anti-gang policy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
I think the art in particular for me, there's this issue of space and framing for Ramita. Everything is so tight, so tight, and I think it's a detriment. In particular, the fighting sequences where they're button heads. He picks the wrong moments to accentuate for me. He picks the parts where they're already like the momentum has already connected, and we're beyond the moment of connection, and it looks like they're just kind of like.
Dude, it looks like they're making out. Look at this. It
in that
looks
one
like they're
part?
kissing.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
He's biting his fucking head. Like
It's so bizarre.
Granted, I'm not doing the work, and but when it comes to just reading it, it feels like it's the wrong heightened period. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
Yeah.
we're-
Well, and back to your cramped point, like it feels like there are ways to make it feel cramped but cool. This feels like an overcrowded toy box.
Or an elevator where there's just too many people on it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And it's like, how are people moving at all in this room?
In any of these rooms, dude. The room with the Rose and
Yeah.
like Beetle and everybody. It looks like there's no space in that room.
Like
Feels like a New York studio.
I'm in the fourth wall and I feel crowded.
take a step back. That aside, again, Wells, man, I can't knock a script. Like if it works, it works, and I feel like that's that at the very least. You have your beats, you have your fun action moments. I did like the She-Hulk and Spider-Man banter. They're quipping. That was silly. That was fun. Good time there. But it didn't. The moments where I'm just like confronted with faces just took me out.
The one
Yeah,
knock I'll give
that's
this
a
book.
Romita thing.
Yeah. The one knock I'll give this book is that like it's the Amazing Spider-Man, and is he in this? He's kind of I think who said it in the chat, the net isn't Spider-Man supporting character in his own comic. That's kind of what this event arc, whatever it is, feels like. And I'm okay with that. Spider-Man has a lot of comics. When do you get to see Tombstone actually shine a bit?
Yeah, we did that in Daredevil too with Devil's Reign.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's I don't feel like that is a big deal. This whole arc is about something that's larger than Spider-Man, but that's fine because this is issue 41. We've had 30 or 40 other issues where Spider-Man is the main guy, so I think he could take a back seat. There's so many players in this comic book. And the part where Peter and She-Hulk are trying to figure out who it is that Typhoid Mary is flirting with, I was dying. And then when Kingpin finally tells her to knock it off, and Spider-Man's like, "Thank you. That was confusing."
That was good. That was good. Silly.
I love it.
I just felt like it was a little too hammy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not just that, like in ye olden days, I would have loved that. But like it felt like that was every piece of dialogue in this book was just ham on ham on ham on ham.
A lot of meat in this book, that's for sure.
Can I call out my favorite sequence before we move on? It's when Madame Mask has this dude's head. Who's this? Toombs?
Silvermane.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Silver.
Yeah.
When she has his head on the battle plan map, and he's like, "Are you using my head as a paperweight?" And it's just this tight close up on Madame Mask, and she's just like, "Yes," and that's all she says.
Yeah, I do like how goofy this book is.
And I think to something that Sean has said in the past about this book, it feels like a return of form for Spider-Man in terms of characterization. That hamminess scale, I think, is that, like, that's part of said aesthetic of ye olden day for that fact.
And I agree.
Mm.
And I think especially if you look to the Doc Ock issues that we read with Ed McGuinness, I feel like Zeb has handled it a lot better previously. It felt like there should have been stakes here that weren't there.
Sure.
I think that's partially because the stakes don't apply to any particular person. It's the stakes of who is going to run New York. That doesn't apply to anybody. It only factors for the villains, but we don't give a shit who runs New York. We hope they lose. So I think that's the problem, and I think you're supposed to invest more in just the overall chaos rather than anything of that nature, any stakes, because there's just not going to be any. But I can understand why that would take heat away from the book for you. For me, it doesn't have any heat. It's just fun to read. Pull.
It's a pull for me, yeah. Pick of the week, like I said.
Vincent Flanagan says, speaking of gangs, # Marco Mob.
What up?
Oh, I don't like the Marco Mob.
What up, baby?
They need to get arraigned under RICO charges.
Didn't we ban Marco's burners? I thought we had a talk about that.
We did, but dude, I mean, please.
They exist. They're out there. The minions are part of it, man.
Oh, Fee Waver says, who would you pick to win this gang war? If you had to pick...
Ooh, that's a good
I
question.
feel like Sean's an owl head.
I love Owl, but he ain't winning this damn game.
No, I think he's already knocked out, yeah.
Any supposition that the Rose might not really be the Rose right now?
Oh.
No. It's too much of a D-list character to bring back to Swerve, like, in my opinion.
Well, because
Kingpin's
Kingpin is...
son?
Yeah, like Kingpin is working for his, trying to
yeah.
help out his son. You don't think that there's a chance that it could be another person?
His other son?
No,
Zdarsky's?
like another character, like someone...
Nah.
Anyway, forget it.
I don't like to think that hard.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Let's just move on. Let's talk about Vengeance of Moon Knight, #1. Writer Jed McKay with art by Alessandro Capuccio, colors by Rachel Rosenberg, letters by Corey Pettit. I have not been reading any Moon Knight at all. I dropped off a long time ago. So the context that I have for this is really from the first page, which is a recap page, which I appreciate. And generally speaking, I think Jed McKay did a good job of scripting this in such a way that you don't have to have read everything to understand what is happening in this specific comic book.
Yeah, I read his Moon Knight. I did not read Death of Moon Knight, though, which was the mini that bridges these two things. But I was fine. I had no trouble comprehending.
I felt better actually in the book, and I was more confused reading the summary. Like all of these names are like, I don't know if we need some extra punctuation or like, maybe
Oh.
shorter names,
Yeah.
including his vampire assistant, Reese, ex-mercenary soldier, fellow fist of Khonshu, Hunter's Moon, reformed criminal 8-Ball, and former teammate Tigra. So is this 4 people or is this 8 people?
I thought maybe there was a character named Soldier.
Same.
I
There
did too.
is.
Yeah.
there is.
Oh, okay. So then,
Oh,
cool.
God.
So then we know everyone.
So
then.
there's 8
Yeah.
people.
Soldier is the shaved head dude.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, I was wondering who that guy was.
So essentially, Moon Knight is dead, and his friends are sitting Shiva for him, which is not something that I think I've ever seen in a comic book before, but okay.
Yeah.
And they mourn for him, which was nice. I don't have a connection to Moon Knight, so it was hard for me to like care about that part, but I get the general idea. All I could think about while I was looking at Captain America standing there is like, yo, how many times a week does my man do this? And for the same people. Like, how many times has Captain America been to a funeral for Doctor Strange? Or like one of those people who dies constant. I feel like Moon Knight's dead every other week. Anyway, in fact, no, I'm not done. If you look at this page, right, that shows all these characters, how many of them has Captain America been to a funeral for?
All
Just
of
this year?
All of them.
Yeah. This year.
Oh,
Yeah, the
man.
only unique thing about that was that Ben Grimm put on the Shiva.
Yeah.
I did like that a
Like,
lot.
oh,
actually.
that's interesting. That's new.
Yeah.
I forgot that he's Jewish. Like I forget that that's like his character.
Prominently too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think he was in the? What food do you think he brought over?
It was a casserole, they said.
Oh, okay. It was a casserole. I saw it was like a casserole dish. Yeah.
Yeah.
8-Ball's cool as fuck.
Dude, I
don't know.
love 8-Ball.
I was kind of disappointed that it just turned out to be a mask. I kind of wanted it to just be his head.
Oh, like orb.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it cracked. I was like, oh damn, it's just another dude.
Yeah, he's always at the bar with no name, just shooting pool. He's useless as shit.
And Reese, I forgot about Reese. Reese is cool, and being this like lead and having this energy about her and this determination and the face off between her and Tiger was cool. Like really adamant and it was a good moment.
I do like how this whole supporting cast is really created for this run, like during this run. So if you've invested your time in Jed McKay's Moon Knight, you're getting a lot of stories and evolutions of new characters, really. Like, when's the last time 8-Ball had a character arc? Probably never.
That's the first time I've heard of him.
Yeah. And he's been around for ages, but he's like, he's a D-list character. But, and I think the most would be Tigra because her and Moon Knight were in West Coast Avengers. But, like, I think it's pretty fun. I think the art is different. It gets a little too almost like J.J. Abrams' lens flare for me at times, where it almost feels overly rendered. But I think it's good. Like that final page reveal, or I don't know if it's the final page, but the reveal we see of that Moon Knight, whoever it is, that was sick. That's a good looking page.
It's a bit textured, almost like what's his face, like Smallwood would have done. It has a little bit of that, but the inks are heavier, which I think, to your point, makes a sharper contrast with the flares.
But with Smallwood, it's textured in a way that feels like texture. With this, It feels like texture in a way that I clicked a brush.
Yeah, I felt that.
I thought this book looked incredible. That was the most striking thing to me. Was the art. I mean, my God, like look at this. Look at these pages here of this like Khonshu person. Who is
No,
that?
that's
Hunter's Moon.
Black
That's
Spectre.
Hunter's Moon,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Hunter's Moon. And just sick, unbelievable. I was really impressed. And then Tigra, my God, can we just take a moment? Can we take a moment to talk about how good Tigra looks in this book. She's got the incredible animalistic pieces here that Capuccio drew incredibly. I've never seen Tigra look like that before. But then, right? You turn the page and then look at this. Look at this face off. Look at how tall Tigra is right there in comparison to Reese.
Should have been me.
And the tails
we got-
behind her.
We
Look
got
at the tail
fucking
behind Reese. Oh my god.
Kingpin and Tombstone making out. Why
Word.
can't we get Tiger and Reese making out? Damn.
I was half expecting. I was like, damn, someone's got to cut the tension.
I actually, because of the sequencing of these panels, I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
kinda
was
looked like it, yeah.
So close.
I was like, "What is this turning into? Is this my brain in a comic?"
Yeah,
Never mind.
Sean's about to be like, yiff, yiff.
I had fun with this. I can tell you now that I'm not going to see whatever this turns out to be. But I had fun with this particular issue.
It did a really good job of, even though I wasn't sure who everyone was, it did a good job of like making everyone at least fairly recognizable enough for me to care about what was happening.
Yeah.
My big complaint is that it does exactly what I hate. It makes the exciting thing the very last thing that happens in the issue. The
Yes.
very on the last page.
I agree with you.
It doesn't let us sit with anything. It doesn't let us, it's just beat you over the head with the next one, go buy issue 2. I'm not going to do that.
My issue with the script was that it's so cliche at this point, but like showing us the end at the beginning and then getting there. I feel like it's a crutch people use, not just comics, TV, movies. The hook should be in the journey, not just to the destination.
But the first page was the death, or do you mean they like off the cover?
The first page was like the shot of 8-Ball's head bashed open already, and then it cuts
I
into
see.
like, all right, let's catch you up. Yeah,
I got you.
it was that record scratch. You're wondering how I got here moment,
Yeah.
Sure.
Pull.
Yeah. Pull.
It was a pull for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If this, if I had the budget, I'd follow this, but there's a lot on the docket already.
I'm interested in McKay's Moon Knight, so I'll definitely catch up on all this on Unlimited or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one to catch up on. Yeah.
This was the listener pick this week. So you guys did a good job. You did a good job. You got a pull from all of us, which is rare these days. At least for the listener pick poll. But I want to point out that the new poll is already up. It's been up. It's been up for an hour, and we've already got some votes. Don't want you guys to go anywhere, but I do want you guys to make sure that you vote. If you can hear me, you should definitely make sure that you vote in the listener pick poll. Already, so these are the books: Titans, The Sacrificers, Wolverine, and Rebel Moon, House of the Blood Axe #1.
Whoa.
Now, I threw that on there because I felt like, all right, let's see how much you guys really love Zack Snyder. Let's see if the Snyder Bros will come for this. But that hasn't happened yet. It hasn't been long enough. Right now, the order is this: Titans Beast World #4 is winning with 50% of the vote, which I don't think that'll continue. The Sacrificers #6 is at 21%. Wolverine 41, which is the beginning of the Sabretooth War arc, is only at 17%. And
Y'all gotta
as I
get
said,
those numbers up.
Rebel Moon at 13%. So we'll see. We'll check in again a little later and see how that's doing at the end of the show.
Yeah. And are the listeners going to make me watch a 3-hour movie?
Is it 3 hours?
Listen, I'll skip next week if that's what's going on. I was just gone a month. I can be gone again. That's fine.
Kale, you want Wolverine to win?
Yeah, real bad.
Minions, I call upon thee.
I don't need your help.
It wouldn't work anyway. People genuinely like the Flash. They don't give a shit about your bad date.
Sure. Okay. That's what it is.
Columbo says Sean's gonna get his wish for more furries at the rate this poll's going on. Listen, Ain't nobody in Titans Beast World looking like Tigra. So I'll pass on all that. I don't need it. I got enough Beast World. Over.
Hey, yo.
Ooh, Ultimate Spider-Man's next week. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Big week.
Big week. Big week. The industry starting off hot. Tyler wanted to talk about Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so let me just get to the right slide here. Yeah, I want to check in with Fantastic Four number 15. This was the this whole run by Ryan North and I think this issue's by Ian Fiorelli has been really fun. It's been real one-shot stories in and out. Ivan Coelho did some of the art for some of the issues too, and this issue is a 2-issue arc, and this is the finale of that. Kind of wrapping a bow almost around what Ryan North has been doing for the past year. And this is just really simple, fun Fantastic Four storytelling. There's nothing complex about it. It is not Hickman stuff at all. It feels a lot more like World's Finest, and then it's just kind of classic superhero comic stuff. It's the Thing, he has his 2 kids, adopted children. That one's a Kree, one's a Skrull. That was during Slot's run. And it's about the family trying to get their kids back out of a pocket dimension. And there's some thing for Marco in this book too, with an AI app that comes to life and gains consciousness. Yeah, I think it's just really good stuff. This is one of my favorite books of the past year. So it's cool to kind of pick up where it left off. I just want to check in on it because I don't think we've talked about it since issue 1. So
Cool. Glad you liked it. I really wanted to catch up on this. I actually just pulled aside all the issues that I have, which I think is all the issues that exist. I'm pretty sure I've bought them all. I haven't read any. So that's on my
brand.
stack.
On
Yes.
brand.
Yeah. Where does it sit for you in terms of all the stuff that you read from Marvel?
it's up there. It's probably one of my favorites, actually. If he ever brings up, I like to usually learn some obscure fact at some point in the book. There's a bit of that. They talk about this. What is it? The China consciousness, which is when the phone was first invented. The idea that all these neurons being transported back and forth can make its own consciousness, and I think that's a definite Ryan North thing. North did a lot of little tidbits of facts in Squirrel Girl, from what I remember as well. And he did what's the comic he did? XD.
No, that's not him.
Dinosaur
He does
comics.
one. He does one called Dinosaur
Yeah.
Comic, where he takes the same clip art of a dinosaur and a house and another dinosaur, and it's 4 panels, but almost every day, it's this weird, different scenario
Yeah.
and weird, obscure fact built into the comic every time.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that in this as well, which I think works for a Fantastic Four book. And the Thing gets one of those crusty white dogs all the white families have with the shit around their eyes. So they got one of those too. Which
Shih
feels
Tzu?
on point. Maybe Maltese. Maybe.
Ryan North is just picking this arc up.
No, he's done this whole thing, all 15 issues.
Oh, gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha. Huh.
good stuff.
All right, let's get into Pine and Merrimac #1. This is a Boom book by Kyle Starks, with art by Fran Galan, letters by Pat Brousseau. Now, I didn't know what this was going to be about. I didn't do any type of research. I see Kyle Starks, I buy. That's kind of where I'm at. And so it's a detective. It's a PI sort of thing, I guess. Detective sort of thing. Husband and wife duo. The book is really centered on the wife. The husband is more like the hunk and muscle kind of thing. He's like a perfect guy. He says, romantic things. He can beat anybody up. He's a trained fighter. He's good for quips. So he's kind of filling that role, and then she's sort of the main character. She's the motivation behind them starting this firm. And the journey is going to largely center around her past, and they're motivated by her past, essentially. I got no problem with this setup. I think it's just that this issue was all set up, And because it's a detective book, I feel like I've read 50,000 of these. And the thing that's supposed to be different, the only thing that is different is that it comes with Kyle Stark's sensibilities and sense of humor. But I don't know that it worked for me here. I love it everywhere else, but I don't think it didn't get me here. I didn't get it
It
here.
it felt like a little much. Like specifically, I was what caught me was the the angry housewife or whatever, smearing shit on the detective agency's windows,
Yeah.
and it was like, but why? Like, it just, like, because it doesn't serve anything other than to get them outside of the agency where where they meet the couple who give them the next case,
Right.
which is the big one.
Mhm. I
But that, like, could they not just come in? Like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I felt that was more like a Scooby Doo trope of introducing the side characters, so you have red herrings.
Yeah.
You have the unlikable guy that you might then issue 2 might be pointing towards this woman or the guy, and it's a red herring. I just again in these like detective stories, I feel like you need to build up the side characters so you have ideas of who might be who. But it is a lot to do in the first issue.
I would be shocked if we see that woman again. Or at
Yeah,
least in the context of the larger narrative.
even the man.
Even the man. That didn't feel to me like setting anything up. It felt more like just scenes that give you context for who these people are and a little bit of Kyle Stark's humor.
Yeah, like the man's uh case, felt like a really good step into, okay, you know, they're really good at this. She can nail all these things about this guy, and
Right.
her husband's got her back.
Right.
And the thing is, you know, he's not gonna like them. Cool. But then the woman shows up and, smears poop all over the window and says the exact same thing. So it just feels like it doesn't, again, it feels like it's reiterating what's already been done, and serve it doesn't feel like it serves what comes after.
Especially because what comes after isn't anything. Like they learn about this missing child that reminds her of her past. They go to this bar, uh, which again, like I love Kyle Starks. I think he's great, and I totally get what he's going for. And I totally get that this guy's a badass. But no one here had a gun or a knife, or
Th-
like he's not the Terminator, I
This
don't know.
that was my issue with this book, Sean. It's the husband in this book. He's wife guy, and he was almost too perfect.
Yeah.
Like the wife had layers to her. She, had a traumatic past, trying to, live up to it. I don't know, like this guy is like a specimen of a human being. He just can't cook. Like that's his only downfall, I guess. Which is like that wasn't compelling for me. And then there's no real rift in their relationship to have a conflict there either.
Well,
Right.
and in the back of the issue, Kyle has a letter that says, he wanted to write a book about a couple that's in love, and where the conflict isn't centered around them, which I think is fine. But, you know, like, this dude doesn't, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, that explains why I didn't care much for it, because I don't know what that looks like.
And I think it's fine to have a couple that is happy. I think that's totally cool. But this issue didn't introduce any level of compelling dynamic between them. Like you could be happy together, but quippy together. and have a funny dynamic. You know, there could be something there, or I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
of
and
Green Arrow and Black Canary. Like
kind
that
of, yeah.
usually works because they are, you know, crazy in love. But there's
Oh,
always
yeah,
conflict
yeah.
still. Maybe not necessarily
Yeah.
always between them, but there is conflict involved around them in a way.
It seemed like their thing was the little drawings or the little gifts or whatever
Yeah,
to each
yeah.
other, but that I don't know, it didn't quite come across
Uh,
well enough,
First
clear
time,
enough.
first time was cute. Second time was like, oh, okay, it's the thing. Interesting. This was my pick of the week, and then as we've talked it through, it's kind of reframed it.
Oh my
Um,
God, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, talk about what you love so much about it.
Yeah.
no,
I
no.
don't
I
want to shit on
mean,
your dreams.
it was it started with the art largely. I really like the brightness of it. I think the colors, the composition is all solid. It felt light. Um,
Mhm.
and some of the transitions as well. The scene in the what should we call it, from the gas station to the camera to all of a sudden we're inside the gas station to the camera moments. There was good execution, but I think on the story front, as you guys have talked about it, I think there's a lot of fair points there, um, that I hadn't called out and considered. Um, and it ended pretty abruptly. I almost felt like there was more to come, and the last page, I'm like, oh wait, oh okay. That was gonna be my only gripe, but I think you guys have raised a lot of fair points. Um,
It did feel.
Vengeance of Moon Knight.
Oh, that's your new pick of the week.
That's a new pick of the week.
It felt like a Black Sad by way of Lifetime.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
It was
I
interesting.
was half ready for the final page to show like an alien, or you know, like somehow this is going to be way crazier than you could possibly imagine. I did not expect that the final page would just be a girl caged in a regular place with a regular, presumably a regular person telling her shut up or you're going to get it. Like,
Man, the Image Comics of the 2010s ruined single genre stories.
well,
You're
no,
not you're not wrong.
it's more just like what is the hook here?
There's
Yeah.
got to be something more. Yeah.
And it's not, and I think that's fine, but I think it's not as alluring compared to other books that we'll read about it.
It's funny. Milkbone Crusader 6 says, I don't think we're supposed to like the couple though when they're dynamic. I think you're supposed to,
Yeah,
The
but
book
like
doesn't function if you don't.
yeah.
but
exactly.
I don't really. But I think I'm bringing in my own baggage to that, to be honest. So it is interesting to see how other people view that.
Me in a happy marriage, I quite enjoyed their dynamic. I just I wanted more between them.
Yeah.
You can like it and recognize it doesn't feel realistic.
And not even realistic, just like they don't feel like two complete people.
Even if they did, it is realistic. There are people running around that are happy in life. That as a singular idea is not interesting to watch. It's just not. Conflict is compelling. There is no conflict between them. That means that the conflict has to come from somewhere else, right? The
Yeah.
conflict doesn't come from Superman and Lois's dynamic. It comes from something outside of their dynamic that threatens them or threatens someone they love or whatever. As of now, what we have is a conflict that has nothing to do with either of them at all, except for the fact that they're detectives, but it plays on her history and something that she's worried about and thinking. For me, that's not enough.
And it plays on her history, which then further singles out the man as kind of feeling out of place in a way for me.
He's a hanger-on. He's there to be her muscle and her Terminator and everything else.
Yeah.
You're right. One of those bikers definitely had a gun. What's going on there?
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're in
dude.
America.
In the Terminator movie, when Arnold walks into that bar, they might as well have had a bazooka in that bar. They had everything in that bar, but he was a Terminator, so it didn't matter. I don't know. I actually really love Kyle Starks. We're probably gonna have him around these parts soon enough. You know, you're not gonna like everything. I love everything else I've read. It is what it is, and for what it's worth, the Fran Gallant art is tremendous.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Fee Waver says has Matteo Scalera vibes, and I think it is a bit of that. It's like it's funny because Erica Henderson did a variant cover for it, but it is like a mixture of a Matteo Scalera, Erica Henderson kind of feel to it.
A little bit of Otto Schmidt in there too.
Oh, we don't talk about him.
Wow,
Oh, we don't.
I definitely see Scalera.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, he did one of those things that you put stuff in your art that might be a little like oh boy.
Oh, I didn't know.
Subliminal, yeah, it's a thing.
Who did Tokyo Ghost again?
That was
America's Favorite Landlord.
Yeah, Sean Murphy.
No,
Oh yeah. It was Remender and Murphy. Yeah.
might be thinking of another one, but not that. Anyway,
Yeah, Milkbone Crusader says they're gonna work in the missing girls to her sister though. Maybe.
they did, but they did. That's the connection, and that's why she felt sympathetic, which a bit on the nose, but
No, he means in a literal sense, I would imagine.
Oh,
yeah.
but she died.
Did she?
Yeah, right. Like that was her whole thing about like now not no murders.
That was what the book says. Maybe that's not true. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
But also, how does it connect to the husband? Like,
right. I'm gonna pass. I hate that.
I'm
look,
gonna
it's like you say, you can't like everything,
yeah. I'm gonna pull. I think I'll see how it turns around. Because it needs a little bit more. I think in retrospect, the art hooked me for sure, but I'd like to see if maybe there's a bit more development there.
I feel the same. I'm gonna pull.
This is a poll, but like I need to see what issue 2 does. Like issue 2 needs to kind of step it up, but it's a
Gotta do
poll
the
still.
work.
Yep. Sean, do we know what this is? Is it a mini? Is it an ongoing or? It's a boom book, so it's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever sales dictate. It's whatever all that jazz. I hope they get a nice long run if that's what they're trying to get at to tell the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be around for that unless I hear great things from one of you guys. Just like Uncaged said, if this was such a differently reviewed book, if it turns out awesome, I'll grab the trade. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, trade weight maybe. It's an option. Or do
I'm
we not do
always
that anymore?
doing that.
Catching up on DCU.
So it's been a year since we've hung out. It feels like it's been a year since all 4 of us have been on this podcast.
At the truth.
Was that last week?
No.
Huh?
All 4 of us on this show.
Oh, on this one, no.
It's like a couple months, bud. So we haven't had the chance to catch up. How was everybody's New Year's?
Bro, I was sick, dude. I was taking shots at NyQuil.
Honestly, same. I did a real low key New Year. I have been sick every New Year's for the past 5 years. So
I was like, what?
So like, were the shots like fun, or are we talking like, yeah, whoa, that was sick, bro?
No,
Of
I took
NyQuil?
shots of NyQuil.
oh
Oh
no,
my
you
God.
don't. If you're robo tripping, you don't take shots. You do different things. You mix it, and you want more than just a shot of that.
I was being hyperbolic and simply making a statement about the fact that I needed to take NyQuil instead of drinking alcohol.
Oh, I see.
Do both.
Kale's like, Kale, you think I'm just gonna take shots of fucking NyQuil?
Do you have one of those cool
Maniac?
NyQuil
The stories,
dreams?
the stories I've heard from you, yes, I absolutely believe you would do that.
Just chug on some fucking NyQuil? That's crazy talk. That's gonna hurt my liver. Although to be fair, the things I do hurt my liver. No, I don't know about it. Maybe you're right.
Marco, I can't even believe you just said that. I really can't.
What?
that you wouldn't do that. What are you, crazy? Why would you do that? It's gonna hurt your liver. Do you understand who you're talking to?
Yeah.
Marco, you're not like you're a partier. You're like a go out and dancer. You're not like a blackout guy.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Not regularly
Mhm.
anymore.
Hmm.
I don't currently have anyone in my life that moves like Marco.
Hell yeah.
No.
Got
Even when
them
I was
moves
younger,
like
no.
Marco. Got them moves like Marco.
Sometimes after the show on a Sunday morning, I'll look at the Discord and I'll turn to Jess and I'll go, I'm worried about Marco.
Well, why? I'm recuperating. It's a recuperation day.
Sometimes after the show on Pals Pulls, I'll see Marco went out afterwards, which is mind-boggling to me sometimes. Like, no, this is a lot of energy. This is my energy for the night, is in the show. I'm not going
Energy
out.
for the week.
In the winter? Hell no.
Sometimes there's good jazz on Thursday nights in the city. Only way to catch it.
Atomic Hound said NyQuil, Old Man Hound's whiskey equivalent. Do not mix
Man,
the two.
Man, I feel that. I can only get the NyQuil pills, and I have to like put them in my suitcase and get them shipped over here.
Yeah, you can't
I
get
can't
NyQuil
get
in
the-
there.
I can't get the syrup.
That's right.
I don't know what that would do to me.
It doesn't work on me anymore, man.
Dude, I took it this weekend, and I haven't taken it in years because I was addicted to it. And it messed me up. I took it once. I had dreams about albino dolphins, and I had to stop, and I like couldn't sleep because I didn't take it.
Damn, dude. Yo, Matt Murphy. Last time I drank with Marco was the weekend my neighbor started. That was the night of the tiki bar. And then remember in the back, they had some music playing.
That was my 30th, right? I think that was my 30th birthday, yeah.
And I was trying to convince you guys to let's go dance. I don't even remember what they were playing. They were playing like rockabilly or some shit. And I'm like, let's get a fishbowl and dance.
It was like an old sock hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Gotta get fucked up, Matt.
I just want it to be known that Kale doesn't even live around these parts, so he's not involved in this. And I stayed the fuck home, so I'm not involved in this either.
When I went to go visit Kale, I feel like I tired him out by being in his presence.
We went, yeah. First of all,
It's like when you volunteer
We
at a
went-
shelter to walk an elderly dog.
we went to one museum and I went, all right, Marco, I'll see you later. And he went, no, we gotta go to like the comic book store where I was gonna meet your dog. Oh no.
Whole itinerary listed out. It's a whole day event. And then I had woken up that day at like 4 a.m, taking the train,
Oh.
arrived,
God.
and then I went out that same night.
Yeah, you did.
I
So
did.
yeah, Marco got into Liverpool at say it was like 9 or something.
Something like that.
And we went, got some breakfast and, hung around town. And then we met my wife and my dog,
My wife.
out in the yard at about 6 p.m. So we went and got some dinner. And then he had to get a train back to London at, I think it was around 9.
Sounds right.
He was like, man, I'm real tired. I think I'm just going to go back to the flat and get some sleep. Well, he had to go get the key to the flat
That's
from somebody across London,
Yeah.
which is like getting across New York City, but worse. And so he was just like, no, I just napped on the train and stayed out and partied for another 4 hours or something.
It closed down the
You're
bar.
Honestly, sometimes
Insane.
when I'm hanging out and I'm trying to stay up late, I just think, Markin could do it. I can too.
Come on, energy.
You're my
If I have
inspiration
that thought,
sometime.
if I have that thought, Marco can do it. I don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Nap time.
That's a really good way to live your life. I think. Kale.
WWMD, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, bedtime 10 o'clock. That's it, man.
Good time.
I spent my New Year's hearing someone defend the Flash movie.
Mhm.
That was a fun time at the party that I was at.
On the phone?
No, in person.
Oh.
In person.
That's when you go up and say, hey, I have to use the bathroom, and then you just go into the bathroom, you sit on the toilet, and you just sigh real hard.
Just to sigh.
Yeah, that was the first. I was blown the fuck away by that.
What was the argument?
Uh just that the Flash movie is underrated, that it's been maligned unfairly, that there's a really good dynamic between Barry and his mother.
Between Ezra and himself and himself.
Did you spend New Year's with Ezra Miller?
No, thankfully not, because if I did, I'd probably have a lawsuit pending right now.
You have
Yeah,
neck
you won't
bruises.
be here.
Yeah, because Ezra would have terrorized the entire party. But yeah, go ahead, Kale.
Well, footage just connected to that. I haven't been here since before Thanksgiving, so I haven't even caught you guys up on my whole thing. But on the trip to, and I won't,
Palling around, palling around.
or something, yeah. On the trip to, San Francisco, you know that stereotype of black women in horror movies. So we had where
No,
they
I
shout
don't.
at the screen and don't go in there. That
Oh,
kind
from
of
like scary movie. Scary movie. I'm trying to help you out here, Cal. From like scary movie.
anyway.
Yes, yeah.
There were 4 black women right behind me on the plane, and they were watching Flash. I have my noise canceling headphones on, and I can hear them through the headphones, and they're doing exactly that through the Flash. It was wild, man.
I feel like there was a way to frame this that didn't feel racisty, but you went right. You
Listen,
drove right
no,
through the
that's not
racist
what
door.
That was. That's not what that was.
Was it the baby scene? The microwave baby scene?
That was there.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine watching the Flash on a plane.
Yeah.
Word.
I
Make me want to get off jump off the plane.
Yeah.
Full Ted Cruz. Put your headphones on. Don't listen to anything. Just stare at the chair. 6 hours.
You guys want to see my stack?
Ooh.
Oh, hey.
What is that, a euphemism?
For free? Oh, yeah, you've been
yeah.
gone. You haven't seen this new bit.
Yeah. So, new year, new me. That's what I say. And I pledge to keep my stack lower. And the stack is my weekly comic book haul. Now, I have established that, unfortunately, I'm behind on a lot, comic book wise. And comics are more expensive than ever. So I'm challenging myself to focus on how much money I'm spending on comics and how many I'm buying every week. And you guys are keeping me honest. So Atomic Hound already throwing out the number 13. We're going to, guess the number of comics that I bought this week. And, a little over under. I, of course, will not partake because this time I actually do know the number.
10 flat. Ooh.
This week was pretty decent. I'm going to go with 11.
Cole also with 11. Quilombo says 9. Wow, went low.
Ooh, Flanagan.
Yeah, I was thinking going low too, but I don't think Sean has that kind of control.
You're thinking of Bean.
Interesting.
Right. Sorry. I'm gonna say 12.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be,
Okay.
we've all lowballed it, I bet.
Well, I said new year, new me, right? So
it's
Here we
only the
go.
first week.
right, yeah. Listen, I'm like those people that start going to the gym for like a week and change. That's like me. Here we go. Vincent Flanagan says, "I'm just guessing the last number." Hey, not a bad strategy. So the 5 books that we read for the show, obviously, we'll put those aside. Fantastic Four, number 15. I fucking love Galactus,
That's a
so I
nice cover.
had to get this cover.
Is it Alex Ross? Who is it?
I don't even know. Let's see.
Those looks like those old like Marvel trading cards.
I think it's either Francesco Mobili or Greg and Tim Hildebrandt, or maybe it's all of them together. It's probably all of them together. But yeah, I love this cover. I love Galactus. I'm still buying Captain America by JMS. Can't help myself. The Hunger
Have
and the
you read
Dusk.
it?
I read the first one that we reviewed
Oh,
on
right.
Pals Pulse. See, and that's why this segment works so much better when Kale's here, because Kale will actually say, "Wait, are you even reading that?"
I was just curious.
It's appropriate. It's appropriate. Ask me if I'm reading The Hunger in the Dusk.
Has that been
Are
good?
you?
I read the first one for Pals Pulse. Birds of Prey #5. How could I miss that?
Yeah, that one you're actually reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Superman. What's the
Ooh.
full title? Superman in the Middle Curtain 78.
Mm.
This is #3, supporting our boy Gavin.
Let's go,
He's doing
Gav.
good work. In
Any
there.
good?
Wouldn't know.
It looks good. We've seen the art.
No,
We
it
can
looks
say that.
great. Yeah. The art's great. And that's it, if you could believe that.
10, baby. On
10.
the money. On
Oh,
the money.
whoa.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. I stopped
Big
at
ol'
10.
The old
big
Ty
ol' no
Dillinger.
prize.
Yeah, so did anybody? No one got that.
I got it.
Marco did.
Oh, you did?
Marco
Oh,
said-
Marco.
Yeah.
He said 10 flat.
And Sean, that cover is by Greg and Tim Hildebrandt. It is actually from the Marvel Masterpieces collection, those old trading cards.
Oh.
There you
Oh,
go.
That's cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that. Atomic Count says, I think we should really monitor the plus minus between the number bought and the number read. See, now that makes a lot of sense. The only problem is that because we do this show on Thursdays, it's not. I mean, we can't expect me to have read all of the books before we go live.
I can.
Now, if we're talking about what I read from last week, if that's the game, I'll tell you right now, I didn't read
number's
one
even lower.
single book
Yeah.
beyond what we read for Pals Pulse. That is true. I've been reading a lot of other stuff, and maybe that should become a part of this segment. And I think I like that idea. I will tell you guys at some point about the books that I've been reading to catch up with my stack.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been doing the same
endless.
actually. Yeah.
Endless.
Are there other ones that you're looking at? You're like, I just might not catch up to that. There's just too much. X Force. X Force is mine. I look at my stack of
Yeah.
X Force and I'm like, oh god.
Because Tyler, don't you sort yours alphabetically?
I do, yeah, because I do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you hate yourself.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to get really real? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Batman. The last full Batman run that I read, I've bought every single issue of Batman that has come out since 2006. The last full run of Batman that I read was Scott Snyder.
Whoa. Like,
Oof.
kept it concurrent?
Hmm?
Dang.
So it's all of Tom King's run.
I read some of it.
And Tinian.
And Tinian. I completely didn't read Tinian. I'll do you one better if you want.
Yeah,
I got
please.
you. All right. Thor.
Did you
I
start
have-
Aaron's run?
The last full Thor run that I read. This is going to blow your fucking mind. And I bought it all. I bought every issue of Thor since JMS.
Oh, come
Is
on.
it-
The last issue. Go ahead.
Is it God of Thunder?
No, the last full Thor that I read was JMS.
This
Yo.
was during Civil War.
Yes.
Didn't you read all of Thor God of Thunder though?
Wait, who's that's with
That's
not the Mighty
Gore.
Thor. Oh, but didn't that continue after
That was
whole
there was
saga?
no Thor proper, so that was kind of the proper Thor, and then Mighty Thor happened. So I guess if you're eliminating that, then yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. That means I missed all of Kate's. I completely missed Kate's. I probably missed half of what Aaron did on Thor.
He did it for a long time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
missed more than half. Trust me.
Yeah. I it's a process, but we'll
You know,
get
Thor was a girl for a while.
Yeah.
there. Hey, some of that was great. You know, the parts I read.
Right?
The parts I read. Don't even get me started on Avengers. Years.
I have a Jason Aaron story for you guys off mic.
Oh shit! So we got to end the show. 'cause I
Okay,
wanna
bye.
hear that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. Love the time we get to spend together on Thursdays for Pals Pulse. Thank you to everybody that tuned in live. Hit the like button as you are getting away from us. Patreon.com/thecomicspals to support if you enjoy what we do over here. If you have, the desire to go the extra mile with us, we go the extra mile for you on Patreon through the channel membership. If we're asking from you, we're giving you tenfold. So thank you to everybody that supports. Tune in Saturday for the main show live at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. We will see you there. Until next time, take care.